y'all, it's Heather, and I'm so excited because we're going to be talking all about indie makeup today. There have been so many new releases, and I have rounded up a bunch of products that have either just launched or launching today or going to be launching soon. Things I've been testing, things I've been trying. I have a lot of stuff and I want to talk about it with y'all. I want to hear your thoughts on these new releases, and I want to share my thoughts because some of these things launched a little bit ago and I definitely have some thoughts, opinions that I want to share. Let's start with what I'm wearing on my face today. This is the new launch from BellaBeauteBar. It is launching today, so I will put the launch time. If it's available now, it'll be in the description box. I will link to everything I'm talking about. I just want to start with this because look how fun my eye look is. Like, look at this. I have to show you everything first before I show you the looks because this look, like, it's speaking for itself, right? Let me show you this palette though. This is the Melted Mattes palette. So this is an all matte palette from BellaBeauteBar. We have half neutral and half like neon shades, which I think is super duper fun. BellaBeauteBar really has a beautiful matte formula. I think that they are blendable and pigmented, easy to work with. And I really like that they did a half neutral, half colorful palette because I think this palette will appeal to a lot of people. Now there are some neons in here, and neons are so fun to me. Like, I just think they're so fun. They're so light and bright, and I really just love like a neon inner corner like what I have going on today. The quality of these mattes in the BellaBeauteBar palette is what I expect from the brand. This is a magnetic palette, so you can rearrange the shades as well, and that pairs perfectly with their Melton Chromes palette. This is a magnetic palette full of multi-chromes. Now this palette has 6 multi-chrome shades, and this palette is pretty pricey. I want to say this is going for like a little under $10 a chrome, which is pretty reasonable when you look at like single multi-chrome shadows, and there is one holographic multi-chrome in here. So this is a really, really beautiful palette. I am going to take the magnetic pans out and I'm going to rearrange my palette to where I can put these in here, maybe get rid of some of the mattes and move them over here and like kind of customize and make my own palette, which I think is the thought behind this with BellaBeauteBar, kind of launching these separately. I do like that in this 6 pan there is a mirror, so if you wanted to put some mattes in here so you could travel with it, you could definitely do that. But these shades are super duper beautiful, and I do have a look just using this that I'll show you too. But first, BellaBeauteBar launched mascara, which is exciting. This is a new category for the brand, I believe. Now I do have an affiliated code with BellaBeauteBar. It is Heather. If I have codes with any of the brands I talk about today, I will pop them up on the screen, and I'll also put them in the description box. Now, I've only been able to use this a handful of times, and for me, I have to test and try a mascara for a long time. Like, I want to give you my thoughts after a full month of using it, you know? But I have worn this a good bit, and I do think it's nice. I'm excited to keep using it and keep testing it and trying it. I do want to show you it on my lashes just so you can kind of see how it is by itself, with no liner, no false lash, nothing like that, because I am wearing it today, but I have a half lash on. So far, I'm enjoying it. I am so excited for this blush palette because BellaBeauteBar has a highlighter palette that I love. Like, their Oracle Chrome highlighter palette is one of my favorite products in my makeup collection, hands down. Not just highlighters, but makeup in general. I absolutely love that. I even bought another one because I'm like, what if something happens? What if somebody comes into my makeup room and they like steal this palette and I don't have it? What am I gonna do? Like, how will I carry on? I have another. It's excessive. I know. I have a problem. I'm not working on it. I'm not working on it. So when BellaBeauteBar was talking about blush, I'm like, sign me up, sign me up. I like that they gave us a blush palette. I have worn every single shade on my cheeks now, and I'm gonna show you me applying these. I think that they're really beautiful. This is a very pigmented formula, so depending on what you want out of a blush, you can go in with a really light hand and you can definitely get a beautiful blush effect. But if you go in like hard, you really dip your brush in, like, you are gonna get pigment. If you are somebody who has trouble like getting blush and stuff to be as pigmented as you want it, this is probably gonna be the palette for you. I am wearing it today. I'm wearing the shade Cannoli right up here. I like that we have kind of a variety of shades. Yes, they are all pink leaning, but I do like that we have kind of this brown with a little bit of pinkness to it, more so this red with a pinkness. These are different shades of pink, and then we have even this like poppy red. So we have like a deep red pink and a bright red pink, so you can definitely definitely kind of customize and do your own shade. And the palette is not super big, which I do like when it comes to a face palette because it's not super bulky to store or anything like that. I'm going to show you a quick little look that I did with just the Molten Chromes palette. I just put down my eyeshadow primer and I went in with 2 shades from this palette. So quick and easy to do. And I really, really wish I had vlogged or something so that you could see how the shadow caught the light as I was moving about my day, because I was busy that day. I was out and about. I could see the shift in the shadow and it's so beautiful and it has that gorgeous holographic sparkle, but it was impactful and fun and I felt like myself, you know, because there's something about color, glitter, sparkle that I just feel like myself in. And of course the mattes palette. I'm excited. I'm excited to kind of mix and match these together. And like I said, I know BellaBeauteBar. I've been a fan of the brand for so long, so I feel like I know their formulas and these are performing so beautifully. So the look I found today, I'm absolutely loving. I do feel like an easy way to wear neons if you want to is to wear it like I am today. Just that pop on the inner corner. You don't even have to blend it out as far as I did. You can definitely keep it even more concentrated, but I just really wanted to like lean into that effect. So I had fun mixing these 2 palettes to create my colorful, neutral, warm look. Like I'm so into it. I do kind of have one indie letdown and it's definitely just incompatibility with the product. I will say that. This is the Made by Mitchell Balm Concealer. I have several Made by Mitchell products that I really love, but I thought, let me try the Balm Concealer. I wanted to see if this would work for me because sometimes when I read about products that are hydrating and glowy, they'll make me look like I haven't showered in a month and the oil is just on top of my skin. Like maybe I took some Pam, a Universal thing. It's a brand name, right? But you know what I mean? Like the spray cooking oil. You know what I mean? Like that oil is serious oil. I have to make myself like enunciate it so y'all can understand. Okay, it looks like I sprayed that on my face. But sometimes there's hydrating, glowy products that make me look, I ate all my veggies, and this glow, it's totally unattainable. Like it's just genetics. I'm just this glowy goddess. And this was giving me the not good one. Like this was really just sitting on top of my skin. When my oils came through, it was almost like the product in my oil had some type of mutant baby on my face. It just did not work for me. I wanted to follow up on that. Again, I really like a lot of the brand's products, but this one, no. It's not for me, but maybe if you're dry, you will love. Let's talk about these liquid blushes from Lunar Beauty because I have now used every single shade on my face multiple times. I have to show you these like on the cheeks because they're so gorgeous, and every single person I have talked to that has tried these Lunar Beauty blushes have loved them. I have not heard anybody say bad things about these blushes. The formula is just so easy to work with. They're liquidy, but they're not too liquidy to where they just disappear on your face. They're creamy, but they're not so creamy that they're hard to blend and they feel sticky. Like they actually go on. You have time to work with them, to blend, to press them into the skin, all of that. They last all day, and then they kind of like, they do kind of dry down after you get them blended in, so you don't feel sticky tacky. Now I have oily skin and I'm living in a humid place, so I always like to go in with my liquids, creams, and then my powders. But for the sake of review, I did try these on top of an already set face and they still blended beautifully. They still looked great. I still had no issues with these. I think it's such a hit, such a win. I'm so into it, and it makes me really hopeful for what Lunar Beauty is going to do in the future as far as liquid products go. I really hope that maybe this time next year we will have a full range of like Lunar Beauty liquid bronzers like this. That would be amazing. I would absolutely love that. Maybe some liquid highlighters, something like that. I'm into it. Today, underneath that BellaBeauteBar blush, I am wearing Rose Rana. And then I went in with the powder blush on top because, you know, I'm a more is more type of person and I just wanted to have some fun. And these are fun to me. Let's talk about this new release from Arttitude Cosmetics because this is the first launch from the brand this year and I'm really excited about this. I really like Arttitude. So it comes like the collection comes in like a full bag. They do offer the full collection like this, or you can get it like piece by piece, and this actually recently launched. Let's just start with the palette. Like why not start with the palette? We'll kind of show all the products. I want to show you everything, and then I'll show you the look that I created. I have not been able to play with this collection a ton yet. I've only been able to play with it a couple of times, so this is definitely not a review, but I want to show you kind of like my initial thoughts after using it for a little bit. And the collection is the Metamorph collection. Cool blue, cool purple color story. And I really like that we have two multi-chromes in here. We have a bunch of shimmer duochromes. Something that I don't love is that with this collection, the owner did say that if you order the palette, you will get the palette and you will get a single shade on the side, because this palette had some type of issue where this shade was not approved to be put in the palette. It was not the quality that the owner wanted, and it got put in. So rather than replacing all the whole palettes, like remaking, she's going to include a single in the palette that is actually the shade that you were supposed to get. So if you get this palette, you will get this palette plus a single. For me, I don't really want to damage my palette pulling this out, because these are glued in pans, they're not magnetic. So to get this shade out, I feel like I would have to damage my palette and then put this in and glue it. So I kind of just have a single on the side, and I don't know if I love that. Do with that what you will. I don't know. I might look and see if anybody else has found a way to like take this shadow out without damaging it. In this collection, there's also a makeup mixing liquid, and you will see me use this in the tutorial. You can use this to like make waterproof liquid formulas, because you can see me using this to turn a shadow kind of into eyeliner. I just kind of use this and then mix my shadow brush in. I never want to take a wet brush and put it in a powder product. That is just recipe for growth of bacteria and who knows what else, and I'm not trying to do that. So only dry brushes in my palette, and then I will add liquids after that. I do always spray my shimmers when I'm using a shimmer shadow, so to me, like, it was super easy to incorporate this in, and I am excited to use this more. I've only used it once, so I can't really review it, but I still wanted to talk about it today because I have used it. I do kind of have an initial thought. There is also a massive brush set that's part of this collection. Now, in the tutorial, you see me using the brushes because I wanted to test them out. I am super hard on brushes. Like, I'm pretty critical. I want to use them, wash them, use them, wash them, see how they hold up, all of that. So it's gonna take me probably another month or so to have a full review on the brushes, and I haven't even got to use all of them yet because like there are so many brushes, face brushes, eye brushes. I was like, wow, this is so many brushes. Like, I could do 2 full faces with this brush set and not need to clean a brush. So I will definitely follow up my review on those. And there's also a sponge in here, and this feels like a very soft sponge. I do have some sponges that are similarly shaped, and I enjoy them. So I'm looking forward to using this. You know, I love supporting a woman-owned brand here, and I almost forgot that there are highlighters in this collection. Now, with the Obsession palette that Arttitude launched in the fall of last year, I did not love that highlighter formula. It was good, but it wasn't my personal preference. It was actually a little too pigmented and intense for me. So trying these highlighters, I was very curious what I would think. This is an improved formula in my opinion from what was in the Obsession collection. In me and in what I like in personal preference. Keep that in mind. Not a bad highlighter formula in the Obsession launch, just my personal preference. I found both of these to be a little less intensely pigmented, so I enjoy that. Flotation is a little bit more smooth. They both have sparkle, and you can definitely see that as I'm demoing these. There's sparkle to both of these, but this shade Cohesion definitely is a sparkle highlighter, like a lot of sparkle, whereas Flotation, you don't have quite as much sparkle to it. So there are 2 different formulas in these, and I do think that they complement the collection. I've been so excited to try these Sigma skin tints. These are actually going to be launching on August 6th. And I have worn these for about 5 days now, so I want to kind of give you my first impression thoughts, because this is a hydrating skin tint, which you would think me, my oily skin, is not gonna like, but it is that sheer to medium. I've really only built it up to a light coverage skin tint that has some silicones in it, which my oily skin really enjoy. If you have oily skin, you will probably still like this. Now, I do want to say that they have 6 different shades, and they sent me these 2 shades, and I talked about in my weekly haul. If you didn't know, if you don't watch my weekly hauls, I do try-ons, demos, first impression stuff in that video, so definitely check that out if you're curious. But I talked about how if you have an olive skin tone like me, you are used to having to mix shades, because unless it is a brand that has like a foundation or a concealer with like 50 shades, you're probably not going to find an olive shade, or it's going to be olive but only in one category, not like across all of the skin tones, you know? So I did mix in a little bit of my Face Atelier olive to make my shade perfect, kind of mixed a little bit of my custom color, and I only took this up to about a light coverage. Here it is on my skin where I'm just wearing that. I don't have any concealer, I don't have anything else on, just a little bit of primer and the skin tint so you can see how it looks on my skin. I always set my face with powder. I have oily skin, I always do that, but this day I want to show y'all I wore it outside. I did not set with powder. I had on the skin tint, I had on the concealer, I had on the blush, and I wanted to get it out in the sun after a couple of hours for y'all so that you could see how it looked on my skin. And then after that, I did powder, because I'm like, I have to wear this makeup all day. It's been a few hours, it's looking great, but I need some powder on my oily skin. So I have worn it. It wears very beautifully. Now, if I wear a glowy primer rather than a mattifying primer, I'm gonna be oily at the end of my day. But if I wear a mattifying primer, I just look healthy and glowy at the end of the day. So that's the way I'm gonna use it. I'm really enjoying this. I will review it after I've tried it for a month or so and let you know. But since I have got to wear it like so many days now, I wanted to go ahead and give you those thoughts. Let's talk about the new release from Glaminatrix. Before we get into the palette, I will tell you what is on my lips, because I am so loving this duo from Glaminatrix. They did these lip products really well. This is their lip liner in the shade Agile. I have that on today. I think it's so beautiful, this color, like it's so nice. The formula reminds me of a ColourPop lippy pencil. So if you like that, I think you will actually really like this. And I know they have lots of different shades. I just have this shade, and then there's a slim lipstick, and I don't care what it is, what you want to tell me. I don't care. Like, you can't tell me anything when I have a slim lipstick. There is something so fancy lady about this. It's beautiful, it's comfortable on the lips. I've had this lip color on for a few hours now, and it's staying even though I'm drinking my Dr. Pepper. Like, it's staying on my lips, and I love that. I think it looks so nice. But the star of the show, we all know, is the Glaminatrix Barely Basic palette. I think this is so cool because it is barely basic. I really like this. I don't feel like this is a unique color story. I know I have some other palettes in my collection that have kind of this purple, green, warm brown, but I don't have another palette that has this kind of cool toned row over here, and I do think that makes this palette unique. Plus, we have these multi-chrome topper shades in here and these intense metallic shades in the beautiful Glaminatrix formula that I really like. You have your like warm neutrals, your cool neutrals. I always say, if you love your neutrals, you're not comfortable like with this that I have going on today, but you want to play with some color, I think mauves and purples and olivey greens are the colors that you could try, because they can look a little less intense on your eyes if that's what you want. So these olivey greens, for me, perfect. They blend into the olive skin tone. If you have a cooler undertone, you may love the mauves. I love both because sometimes I want to complement, sometimes I want to contrast. You know, I want options. Your girl loves options, and this is giving me some options. The multi-chrome toppers are beautiful. Glaminatrix really hit it out of the park with this one. I think they gave us like such a great selection of mattes and metallics and multi-chromes. It just makes sense to me. And the packaging is sleek. Like, I'm here for that. I love the like glam vibes of these. This might be my new favorite Glaminatrix palette. Like, what can I say? I did film this quick, easy eye look. I have played with this aside from filming because yes, I do wear makeup even when I'm not filming. Sometimes I just want to play myself. Makeup is still like my happy place where I want some me time. I want to play. And sometimes that means I don't want to turn on the camera. I don't want to take a photo. I just want to sit and enjoy and play. So I've really enjoyed this palette, and I can definitely create some more looks for y'all though if you would like to, because every look I've created I've just really loved, and I think they nailed it with this one. They really do. I love Glaminatrix, I really do, but like that palette out of all of my Glaminatrix palette is really a standout for me. I think it's just so user-friendly the way they set it up. Like they really killed it. It's on pre-order now. I will link it below. Let's talk about Ensley Rain. So Ensley Rain launched their Flutter and Flourish collection, and I believe this is the second collection they're launching this year. I know they had the Cosmic Dreamer palette collection. I did a whole video on that, and I will link that in the cards for you. And then they have been working on kind of filling out their line. They launched a couple of singles, and then they reformulated and repackaged some of their older palettes, which I really appreciate. That way they kind of have a cohesiveness to the brand. You can kind of mix and match your palettes if you want to, because they do magnetic palettes. So I know that they've kind of done some like things with the brand in between their new launches, but Cosmic Dreamer, and then we got these small palettes, and I am so excited about these. Now, we'll talk about the palettes in a minute. We'll save those for the end. There are 2 lip glosses in these collection. These are fun. I like the formula. I think these are fun, intense glosses. I did a video. I have both of these on the lips. I have the full collection. Check it out if you want to watch. But these are not my personal favorite glosses because I just don't wear a lip color like this a ton. I do think they're super fun. I do enjoy when I wear them, but they're not like my go-to gloss. It's not gonna be like, this is my favorite ever, but I like them for what they are. They're fun, they're colorful, they're different. If you want to have a fun look and you just don't have a ton of time, just throw in mascara, no eyeshadow, and throw in one of these glosses, and you're gonna have something really, really fun. So I do like that. I do like having things like that in my collection. There are also blushes from Ensley Rain. They're actually just like pressed pigments, but I wore them as blushes, and I think they're really nice. Again, these are pigmented, so a little bit goes a long way, but if you need pigment out of a blush, these got you, and you get them in their cute little cardboard component with the cute little design, and these 2 palettes. What can I say? Don't ask me to pick a favorite. Like, they're so different from one another. They're very unique. I do think if I could only pick one, like if you forced me and you were like, Heather, make a choice, or you're not going to get to eat candy for the rest of your life, I would pick Flutter, okay? I just like it. It's kind of murky. It calls to me, but I love them both. Had Ensley Rain not sent this to me, I definitely would have purchased this myself. There's also singles in the collection. I love a good single shadow and the loose pigments. It's all in that video. Check it out if you were curious. But yeah, if I could only pick one thing from the collection, of course, I always have to prioritize the palettes. And then maybe I would say the singles, and then the blushes, and then the moon dust, and then the glosses, if I could like rank the collection. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. This is another palette I wanted to touch on. This is the Adept Cosmetics Legends of Ardra palette. Legend of Ardra. I'm sorry. Like, I get so like trying to say that name. I don't know why, but this is the prettiest packaging ever. Like, I wish I could wear this as like a full bodysuit. Like, cover head to toe in this. I absolutely love this. I do have a video on this palette as well if you want to check it out, see swatches, everything like that. And I actually created another super simple look, so why don't I throw that in here? It's gonna be in an upcoming video, but let me just go ahead and show you. Like, I really enjoy this. I think everything about this palette is beautiful. This palette did sell out, and they opened up a pre-order. I know it is a limited edition palette, and I'm so happy that they opened up a pre-order because I believe it sold out faster than they were expecting. I love Adept palettes always. I do have a collaboration with Adept, the Heather Austin palette. I love the brand. You can move these around, like the shades. You can kind of like move them with a magnet. You can swap them out and make a custom palette if you have other Adept palettes. But this packaging, like, stop. It is me. It is I am this packaging. GlamLite launched new setting powders, and I have worn this every day since I got it because I really wanted to test it, try it, and be able to tell you what I think of this. This is the shade Translucent. Now, I feel that I need to buy the banana shade, and I'm planning to really get a feel for this powder because I love a banana powder. I love the kind of color correction it gives me under my eyes. I love the way it looks. And this is at a great price point. It's $15, and then when you use a code, Heather Austin is mine, on top, you get it even cheaper. So it's really a low price point. Like CoverGirl is out here with like a $20 foundation. So what is drugstore pricing these days? I don't know. But GlamLite, like they kept the price point great on this. And in the powder, you do get like a powder puff, and you get this little like smooth thing. I don't usually use these, but I want to test it. But you can see I have been using the puff. But so far I'm liking the powder. I have been using my Holy Grail loose setting powders. We're not talking about pressed. I'm just going to talk about loose. The Huda Beauty Easy Bake and the One Size Ultimate whatever powder. Years. Used them up, repurchased. Like, I love those. So I can't use a powder for a week and say like it's a new favorite, but I can say it's a really great powder. I've really liked the way it's held up on my skin even in this heat. I mean, the other day I took my son to an outdoor mall. I looked at the temp and it was like, feels like 108, and I'm thinking, well, yes, it does. Yes, it does feel like 108. But when I got in the car and I looked at my makeup, I was like, oh, okay, GlamLite, like you controlled the shine. That and the Sigma, like my makeup was still looking fine. And when I say fine, I mean like fine. Like not fine, like how are you doing? I'm doing fine when really your life is in chaos. But like fine, like dang, you look fine, like that type of fine, you know, like good. Clionadh, they have released some hits. I'm like, oh, I love Clionadh, so this won't come as a shock to you. These are products I really enjoy. Now, to be fair, I had already tried the Dragon Fruit lighters from that collection, and I knew that this was a different formula than those, but I do have experience with Clionadh highlighters. So when they launched the new fruit lighters, I'm like, sign me up. I was gifted a couple, then I ordered some because I'm like, I need them all after trying them, and then they sent me them. So loving these, loving these. Let me just tell you, like Clionadh, I say this every time, but it was that brand for me where I was like making my wish list, setting a timer for 5 minutes before launch, and like going on my break at work so I could get my stuff, you know, like I needed it. These fruit lighters are so cute. I love that the packaging like matches. I think it's so beautiful. I know I've had these for a couple of months now and I've been like talking about them, but I just want to talk about it again because it's like what's new in indie makeup. And they also launched the singles. I talked about these recently as well. New singles. I have bought so many Clionadh singles. I don't even want to like count up the cost. I just don't even want to do it. But Clionadh hand presses and hand does their shadows, which makes them super special. They are an independently owned brand. It's a brand owned by sisters out of Canada, and they launched 3 new palettes, and I already knew I loved Clionadh eyeshadows, okay? So I knew like going into this I was going to enjoy these. Like so many of these indie brands, I mean all of these indie brands, it's not my first time trying the brand. So I feel pretty confident when I like test the product and try it and I'm like, yeah, this is consistent with the brand. So I do have a video where I'm doing a look with each of these palettes. So definitely check out that video if you want to see a look with each of these palettes. I will link it for you. Again, if you watch my hauls, you know I put tutorials, looks, everything in my hauls. Let's talk about Oceano first because this one to me is the most like appealing, the one I'm drawn to the most, the one I'm like, yeah, you and me, like I see you. This one, it's just so fun. It's just so fun. So definitely, again, check out that video if you want to see me create a look just with this. But we also have Archeo. Okay, this one's really pretty. More like muted, earthy tones. I do have a look with this. I mean, I have a look with all 3, so I need to stop saying that. But so beautiful. I like that they didn't stick to one layout with these palettes. They kind of like let each palette be on its own. I know they all launched together, but I do feel like you don't have to have all 3. Like, you can get one if you like these more muted earthy tones. The Oceano's a little more like bold and vibrant and daring, but they all have some Clionadh multi-chromes in there, and Clionadh multi-chromes are multi-chroming, okay? Like, they came to work. They didn't come to play, they came to work, they came to do their job, and I love them for that. And they're amazing. Like, some Clionadh single shadows, I know I paid like $25 US for, so the fact that they're putting some in the palettes, like, we love that. We love that. Let's talk about Paleo. This palette, so pretty. I can't really pick a favorite. I just know that I'm drawn more to Oceano. The quality in all of these is great. The mattes are super pigmented and easy to work with. The multi-chromes are doing their thing. We already talked about them. Like, I'm not even going to talk about it anymore. The shimmers are shimmering. They're just so beautiful. The quality is there. It's exactly what I expect from Clionadh. I do want to show you a look that I created using Oceano and Archeo together. I really like that look. I love pulling multiple palettes and creating a look. It just opens up a whole new world of possibilities. And if you're ever like trying to shop your stash, recreate a look, something like that, or wanting to try a new color combo, always remember, like, you can pull 2, 3, 4, 5, however many palettes. Like, the limit does not exist. Do what you want. Just because you don't have everything you want in one palette doesn't mean you can't reach over into another palette and kind of jump around and pull what you want to pull. Like, have fun with it. So yeah, I really love Clionadh. I'm stay loving Clionadh. Last but not least, I will rave about the Rituel DeDe Creature of Light Illuminators. Full face serum illuminator. I love these. I use these all the time. I love this, especially when I want to be extra glowy. I recently did a 10-minute makeup video and I talked about these. This is definitely a product I use as like a glowy primer, something very hydrating, but it's something that's glowy that gives me that goddess look, not the greasy look. It's very beautiful even on my oily skin. Now, it's stunning. Let me show you. I'm like, oh, I swatched here, so maybe I can show you kind of on this hand because it's so beautiful. And you see like just that little swatch, and then when I blend it in, they're very sheer. So on the Rituel DeDe site, they do show these on multiple skin tones, and I really feel like every skin tone could wear every shade because they're very sheer. It's just kind of like that subtle tint that you want to give to your skin. But do you see, it's not like glittery, it's glowy. And there does look to be like, if you really look up close and shine the light, it looks like there's maybe a tiny bit of sparkle in here, but that does not translate as like visible sparkle on your skin. It's beautiful. I've used it on my face. I've used it like on my décolleté, on my shoulders. Like, it's beautiful, and it doesn't feel sticky, tacky. Like, my skin feels nice and hydrated, but I don't like touch myself and feel like I stuck, or like a mosquito's gonna come and like stick to my hand, and like, I mean, it would serve them right for biting me, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not tacky, it's just hydrating feeling. So I love it. I was really excited to try the product, but after I tried it, I was like, oh, favorite. Like, this is going to be a favorite of the year for me. Did you enjoy this kind of roundup review type of video? I was so inspired by Abby Young. I will link her down below. I definitely recommend you check out her channel. She does these, but she talks more so about hair care and sometimes about skincare, and I really enjoy those. If you did like this, we can definitely do a similar style video with drugstore products, high-end products. We can do another indie video because the releases are coming, y'all. Definitely stick around. I'm going to pop up some more videos here if you want to check out some more indie makeup videos, because I love makeup. I love supporting small business. I love supporting like independently owned brands, and I love talking about makeup.